we run it around like that when we put it on the build. But again, as you can see guys, if you're coming along with this build and you've managed to get hold of these issues, that's where it's telling you what frame you're wanting. So that one, there we go. See, just a bit of persuasion guys, nothing too rough, you don't damage anything. I won't worry about if they're sticking out a bit. Hey all, welcome back to the channel, Rich43. Hope you're all doing good guys, hope you're all well. Today, I'm building the Star Wars Millennium Falcon, issue 12. Guys, if you're not already, smash that subscribe button, give us a big like, comment and share. If you already have subscribed guys, big thank you, appreciate you to bits and appreciate all the new views also. But without further ado guys, let's crack on with the Millennium Falcon. Okay then guys, so we'll start off by looking through this week's mag of issue 12 of Star Wars Build the Millennium Falcon. As you can see in the top left corner of the screen guys, I've got a few parts already out for this week's build, and as promised, this week is not going to be any recapping guys, it's actually full bore building parts. And again, I'm going to move this Titanic out of the way. As you can see, that's for another video. Take a look for the playlist guys if you want to check that out. I'm not just doing that seriously, it's because it's at the top of the screen and I'm going to keep knocking it as I keep moving. I've got to get a bigger studio guys, not the studio but the shelving and that, because everything is getting too big and in the way. But anyway, back to this magazine of this week. You got the Millennium Falcon there in action. More diagrams of the Millennium Falcon. Some brilliant content in these magazines guys, and pictures, look at that. Wicked pictures there. More on the Millennium Falcon, which obviously this is what this build's about, but there's loads of facts and statistics guys. If you're doing this build, take time to read these mags, and I've said it before, I've not read any of them. I've got all these mags stored and maybe one day I will read them, but they're going to be a good read guys. And there you go, there's the content for this week, and this is what we're looking at this week guys. Oh, and before we go on, I think I mentioned this a few issues ago. This is the screwdriver you get with, I think, issue 1 or 2. I can't remember now. It doesn't look much, but if you can see, this bit here twists. So when you're screwing, you can put that in your palm of your hand, and it actually pushes onto your palm, and it's a lot easier than twisting your wrists. You're not going to hurt your wrist. You just twist the screwdriver, and it swivels on there. It's a nice little trick they've done there. It's pretty cool. And I said I would find it out for you, and I found it, and there you go, there's a screwdriver. Right, in this week's issue then guys, we've got internal details, more hull frames, all the screws and the fittings, etc. And we've got some more hull exterior. And then here we go, we'll crack on with this week's issue guys. Now, what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to get the parts and build them together rather than go through every part I've got. It just keeps the video more snappy for you guys, and you can obviously see what's going on without having to look through what I've got, and we'll just go through what I've got as I'm building. Well, yeah, we've got 19 instructions to do, so it's a busy one week this week, guys. And then what we're going to do is a test run of how the hull plating will fit on the framework, which looks like that at the end of this issue. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's check there's nothing else in this mag. No, that's it, but while I will go into next week's issue. It looks like we're getting main hull pipework, which is there, and lower hull parts. So more framework and more hull parts. I'm not sure what those are, but we'll find out next week guys. So if you're not already, subscribe and come back next week for the next issue guys. But without further ado, let's crack on with the Millennium Falcon build issue 12. Okay then guys, so the first instruction, referring to the photo above, which is this photo here, take frame number 10 and the outer radial rib, align them as shown. So if you look at the frame here guys, you can just about see, just there, if I turn that way around, it's got BF10. So obviously that's frame 10. And then we want this radial outer rail rib. If you look at the diagram just at the top here, you've got a 4-hole square piece and a rectangular 2-hole piece. What we want to do guys is put basically the radial rib like that. So it's going to have one screw at the top and one just at the bottom there. That's how that's going to look when we've put the 2 screws into that hole and that hole there. Now when we do the screws guys, we don't tighten them too tight, we've just got to leave them loose for now, because the structure will take its own path and I think we'll tighten up at a later date. So that's going to be instruction 1. Instruction 2, insert a screw in the outer 2 hole flanges, but do not tighten, as I said, fully yet. Now by the looks of it, we need black screws, and here I have the pillbox, I call it. Snazzy little things these guys, because you can keep all your screws in order without losing them, like if you put them in bags and then you've got to search for them. And yeah, I'm going to use the Millennium Falcon screwdriver, which should be electric. Yeah, brilliant. So we'll line that up like so, and then if we just place it there like that, and then we'll just start this screw off. So yeah, that'll be enough guys, it's just got a bit of a bite. Don't need to do them too tight as it just said in the instruction. And we'll line the second screw up. Again, just get a little bit of a bite guys. A few screws. As you can see, this screwdriver is pretty cool because it just swivels on your finger. So as you can see then, we've put those first 2 pieces together, but there's a little bit of play in there for now, and we'll tighten those up at a later date when they tell us to. Instruction 3, insert the screw. Yeah, we've done that. So basically we've done 3 instructions there guys. The first 3 instructions are telling us to put that screw at the top there and that screw in the 4-hole flange as shown. Yeah, and then when we've put both in, as we've come into that, now you tighten them up. So basically guys, as you're putting the 2 in, you do them loose until you've put the 2 in, and then once you've got the 2 screws in, then go for it, tighten them up. I think that's just so you've got to get the metal twisted the right amount. So yeah, those are nice and tight now guys. And I'm filming this guys in 4K HD for you, so it should look wicked on any device you're watching. And if you're not already guys, subscribe, give us a big like, also comment and share. But that's the first 3 instructions done, and that's what we're looking at. And obviously you can tell, I think on the picture, the video, this is all metal, and we've got a nice flush fit there. Okay, so now we're going to instruction 4, 5 and 6. We need frame 13, and then we're going to line it this side as shown. And here we have frame 13. Again, you can see the number just there, BF13. And what we want to do is turn this that way around, and what we've got to do guys is it goes under these ribbed bits, these radial ribs. The frame goes underneath like so, and you can see how flush that fits. Again, we'll put 2 black screws in, but as it says in the instructions, apply them loosely first, and then when we've got them both in, then we'll tighten them up. So we'll line this screw up, find the thread. Yeah, just a few screws, a few turns, just until you get the other one in. Comment down below guys if you're enjoying this build. I really am. So we've put those 2 in loose. That's how it looks at the minute. Guys, it's going to be massive, absolutely huge. And there you go, there's the underside. And if you're wondering how you put the frames on, guys, basically the smooth side is this side, as you can see, and on the upper side you've got all the rough edges and the details of what frame you're using. Because I think, don't quote me, when this has been built, I think that side is what's going to be facing up. Don't quote me on that yet, guys. Right, anyway, we've done 6 instructions here, guys, and the second instruction was basically putting the screws, telling you what I've already said. Instruction 6 is now tighten the screws fully, which there wasn't far off anyway. Try not to round them like I've just done, but there you go. That's up to instruction 6 done. It's going to be huge, guys. I don't know how I'm going to film this as it gets bigger, to be fair. I have palpitations about that, but I'll sort something out. Instruction 7. Take frame 11 and align as shown. Insert a screw into the 4-hole flange rib. So we're looking at this diagram here, guys. So we need number 11, frame 11, which is this frame here. Now we want it around like that when we put it on the build. But again, as you can see, guys, if you're coming along with this build and you've managed to get hold of these issues, that's where it's telling you what frame you're wanting. So we want to position with the rough edges at the top, that way round. And then what we've got to do is just put it under that 4-hole flange, like so. And then we've got to screw it in with one of these little black screws here. Yeah, I'm just going at the top of the screen there, guys, to get the screws out the pillbox. So yeah, what I'll do is a few turns. We'll leave that a bit loose at the minute because we've still got to do a few more. Screw in. Instruction 8. Screw a 2-hole connector in place to join the outer edges of frame 10 and 11, which are these 2 pieces here. Right, so I'll just get this little connector and show you. These are 2-piece connectors, guys. Now what we're going to do is place that in that section there, and then we need 2 little black screws to connect them together. So there's one screw on there ready for us in a sec, and then we'll screw these in. Yeah, just a few turns first, guys. Get the other one. I think if you do it loosely, you've just got a bit of play to move the frames around until you've got them all connected into the right place. So that's up to instruction 8. And then we've got to take frame 14, align as shown in this diagram, just at the top of the screen. But that's what we've got so far, guys. That is huge. So we want frame 14 now. And here we have frame 14, like so. And we've got to position it this way around, guys. Just put it under that 4-hole flange rib, and then we've got to put a little black screw just in there. Bit of a slippery on that one. Find the thread, a few turns, leave it pretty loose, and that is instruction 9 done. Careful how we lift this up, guys, because this is still not connected at the other ends. In fact, I'm going to screw that a little bit tighter just to keep the frame in place. There we go. And then we'll move that to one side. Now, joining radial ribs. Now what it's asking us to do is join a radial rib. So what we've got to do is get one of these radial ribs with the 4-hole flange rib on there, or should I say 4-hole flange in the rib. And then what we've got here is a little connecting part, should I say. It's got 4 holes in. And what we want to do, if I just get the framework for you guys, position the rib that way around, as you can see, so that'll fit those 2 holes and that bottom of the frame there. And then if you can see the 4 holes there, that is where the connector is going to go. So if I just get the connector, and you'll get the gist then when I show you this, that what we do is put that in that position, and then you've got 2 screws to put in there, and then we'll put the radial rib in there, and then another 2 go in there, and then that is how that's going to look, like that. Pretty big, isn't it, guys? And this is only 2 sections, well, 1 section in a way. Mental. Well, 4 pieces, but 1 section of this massive Millennium Falcon, and then we're going to be putting 2 more of the frames further down. So the next few instructions are basically about what I've just told you guys, how we're going to put the radial rib and align it with the assembly as shown, which is just at the bottom left of your screen now. Let me just line that up ready. Instruction 2, we've got to put 2 screws, 2 black screws in the 4-hole flange to the holes, frames 10 and 14, which are these at the bottom. So if I move this pillbox out of the way, tilt that round a sec, what this will do then, it'll just line the rib up so it don't keep moving. So if we get a black screw here, again I'm doing these in loose, guys, until further down the line it'll tell us to tighten them up, because I think if we do these screws in too tight more than a few turns, we might have issues getting the frame all put together basically, because it'll just put too much pressure on one point of the frame. Right, so that's that done. Now we're up to instruction 2. We've just joined basically on that rib, radial rib, frame 11 and frame 14. Now instruction 3 of joining the radial ribs, this is fit the connector over the joint between the 2 halves. So that's this part here, guys. Instruction 4, insert the brass connecting screws. So that is these ones. As you can see, these are a bit bigger, as they've got to go right through the connector. So if we position that way, move the connector down just a touch, these should go through. And guys, when you're putting these gold screws through, I don't know if you can tell, but this side of this connector, they're plain holes, and then on the other side you've got the thread, which is where the screw's going to tighten up. So make sure you put the screws from the plain side, if that makes sense, and then it should tighten up as you screw them into the connector. So if you just get that lined up, push it through the plain side of the connector, and then screw gently until you feel the thread to the side. There you go, and then they get tight. And then last but not least, we'll do, he says, we'll do hole 4. Oh, this one don't want to go in. Stick with, guys, bear with. You do get some like this. And this is a magnetic screwdriver, so it's pretty cool. Again, start off the thread through the hole side, and then once you feel the bite and getting tighter, you know you're getting somewhere. There you go. And you can feel the tightness, and that is that connector fitted. It's all nice and flush, and you can see the screws come through the other side, through the thread, nice and tight. What I also found, a little tip as well, guys, I found that 2 of the screws wasn't biting the other side. Now that could be down to the manufacturing of the screws. If that's the case, guys, just try another screw and you will probably find one what bites basically. I had 2, that bottom one and the top one, and they just wasn't biting the other side on the thread. So what I did is just change the screw, and now you can see that's lovely and tight. So that is everything done up to instruction 5, as you can see here. Just showing you how to put the brass screws in. Next we're doing a line frame 12 to frame 11, which is this one here. So I'm going to get frame 12. Yeah, so here we have frame 12. And you can see here there's a raised bit here, guys, so you know you've got the right one, which you know by the shape of it anyway. But just in case you question yourself, which sometimes happens when you're building, what we've got to do is fit that to frame 11. And now we need another little black screw. Pick that up like that. And then we've got to connect that to this 4-hole flange. Now these screws are still loose, guys, because it's not told us yet to tighten them fully. Now last of all, for this week's issue, for the framework, we want frame 15, which is going to be attached to frame 14. So there you go, there's frame 15. And remember, guys, again, just in case you might forget, I do sometimes, have the numbers and the raised rough bits facing up. So what it wants us to do is turn that way round, and then again get another little black screw. This one don't want to go in, does it? It wants to run off. Get a little black screw and then attach this to the 4-hole flange, and then basically we've attached frame 15 to 14. Again, I've not tightened these fully, guys. What I'll do now is we'll turn the page over and see what else it wants us to do. But look at that, guys, look at that. That is huge. I mean, my hands, it's basically the size of my 2 hands, and they're not massive hands, but they're pretty big. And look at that. We're only on issue 12 of this build, guys, and this is massive. This is one huge build, and I don't know how I'm going to film it later down the line. I really don't, because my desk's not big enough. Right, back to the build anyway. Instruction 10, insert a screw in the 4-hole flange to secure frame 15. Yeah, we've just done that. Now number 11, instruction 11, it is easier to join the other inner and outer radial ribs before fitting them. Right, so what we're doing now, guys, is we're going to be joining these 2 outer radial ribs before we fit them. So what it wants us to do is, if we get these 2 holes here, they're basically going to be joining like that. So what we need to do is get my little tidy pillbox out. And if I just put that at the top of the screen there, here's the connector, guys. Now what we want to do is, you can see the little thread just there. We want that side. And then what we're going to do is put one connector there, so you can connect those 2 holes. And then what we'll be doing is putting the other connector, and we'll be putting 4 gold screws to connect this radial rib. And as by looking at the instructions, you can see these 2 4-hole flanges are either side of the connector. That's how I knew how to put it that way around. And at the top, you've got the 2-hole flange there. So what we need to do then, guys, is get another gold screw out. And the best way to do this, I think, is just take the bottom end of the radial rib. Again, have the flat holes sticking up, facing up, and the thread underneath. And then you will get a bite as you put the screw in. Do you know what? I might be better putting this in by hand and then screwing it, because they're playing me up today, guys. Right, so if you just rest that on your desk, you should be able to get those in then, guys. Be careful not to go right through though, because you're going to either mark your desk or your book or whatever you're working on. I need to get one of those model mats, if you know what I mean. I've got to get hold of one of them, guys. Right, so put the other gold screw in. Yeah, you can feel the bite as soon as you get through the connector and the radial rib. You can feel it tightening up. So yeah, that's those 2 in. Pretty simple. And then you get another gold screw, line that up, connector, like so. And I'll start that off by pushing it in the hole like that, and then we'll tighten that up with this millennium screwdriver I've got, guys. I'm glad I found it. I think I mentioned it might have been at the beginning of the videos of this millennium build, or it might have been further in, I'm not sure, but I did say I had a screwdriver free, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, I found it. Story short, I tidied the garage out last week, which is obviously behind me. This is the corner of the garage where I'm doing this filming, and I tidied up a lot of stuff and I found it. But anyway, there's the radial rib done, guys. It is a bit loose, but that's because it's going to work together with the frame. Once you put these pieces on the frame, it just tightens it up, if that makes sense, and then that's going to be a good structure. But that is instruction 13 to 15 done. That's how that looks. Okay, so now we've got the rib ready, guys. Instruction 16, align the complete rib with the edge of the frames 13, 14 and 15, and we've got to join those with the black screws again. So you can see a hole at the top there, guys. That's on frame 13. Yeah, we've got to join at the top corner of 13, then we've got to put 2 black screws in 13 and 14, and then 2 other black screws in the top end of 14 and 15 frame. Then 2 there and 1 there. So let's crack on with this, guys. So what we'll do, it's telling us to start at the top, so that's where I'm going to start. Make life nice and simple, eh, guys? What I'll do is I'll turn it around so you guys can see it on camera. Again, what I'm going to do is start it off a few turns, nothing too tight. And meanwhile, in the background there, you can hear the washer, which is the other side of this wall. Sorry about that. It's on a spin, they call it, I think. I'm gonna have to do something about that, ain't I, guys? Just careful not to thread your screw, guys, and lose the thread, if that makes sense, if you put it in a bit wonky. So at the minute we've put 3 black screws in. Seems to have lost the magnetic, this screwdriver does. It's doing all right though. So yeah, so far we put 1, 2, 3, 4 black screws in. Do you know what, I've thought about getting a shed at the bottom of the garden. It might be a lot more quieter for doing these videos. I do apologise, guys, if that's annoying. I don't know if you can hear it as loud as I can hear it on the video. I hope not. But again, if you can, I'm sorry. Oh, that's it for now. Yeah, we ain't going to put a screw in the bottom. So we've put that radial rib on the frame. That's how that looks. And of course the spin's ended on that washing machine now. The video's coming to an end. Ironic that, isn't it? Right, so we've put all that in. That's up to instruction 18. Work along the rib, adding screws through the holes and the flanges. We've just done that. Instruction 19, when you have added all the screws, check they are all tight. So now, guys, it's just a matter of checking all these screws we've put in are nice and tight, which they are. Bear with me if you can just see my hand, guys. I've got to get these nice and tight without rounding the tops. Nice and tight, guys. And if you want to see more of this build, guys, you want to come along with me, feel free to subscribe, give us a big like, and also comment down below, guys, and feel free to share the video to whoever you want to share it to. Really appreciate that. Get me about, guys, throw me about YouTube land. And plus it gets other people to obviously watch the build, and if I can make people happy by doing these builds, it'll make me happy. I think I've tightened these. I'm just double checking now that all these screws I've put in are all nice and tight. So the frame is all nice and put together. It's not going to fall apart. I'm not sure when I'm going to put this yet, you know, when it's built. I mean, I think you can get some sort of frame holder, it can go on the wall. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on the wall or hang it from the ceiling. I would like to have it hanging from the ceiling, like behind me, so when I'm when I'm talking to you guys at the intros, etc., you can see it. I'm not sure yet, it's a long way down the line yet. But again, these builds do fly by. It'll soon be here. Right, so I think we've done all those tightening of the screws now. And that is what we've got at the end of this issue 12, guys. Look at that. That is amazing. That is huge. And that is just a little piece of this millennium falcon build. But as you can see, guys, that's lovely and tight now. Beautiful. So if I just move this pillbox out of the way and see what it wants us to do at the end of this video, how the hull plating fits. Right, so we're doing a test run here, guys. Hull panel 10 from issue 9 fits this position. So if I just turn this round, as I said in the, well, a few minutes back in the video, this is the smooth side, guys. This is where you're going to fit the panels. So what I'm going to do is get all the panels we need, do a dry fit and see how this build looks. Okay, to the right of the screen you can see 3 hull platings. We're going to test them, guys. We're going to try this out and see how it looks. So first of all, we need hull panel 10, which was from issue 9 a couple of issues ago, which is this part here. Now this is similar to the frames, guys. If you look, I do hope that's gone on camera, you can see BP10. That's panel 10. Now what it wants us to do is fit it. You've basically got little lugs, which eventually these will have screws, I would have thought, to connect them to the frame. I couldn't get my words out. I knew what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't think what I was going to say. So what we want to do is just careful not to break the lugs, guys, as you're putting them in. I think that's where they've got to go, to be fair. Let's just double check before I push those in. Yeah, that looks good to me. Because if you can see here, you've got 2 holes, which are these 2 holes here. So yeah, and then you've got that hole lined up with that hole in that frame. So if we just turn it round, just so we're not going to damage any of the lugs if we push them in. There you go. Careful, guys, not to force them in. Just take your time. Don't force them in. They will go in. You just got to twist a little bit. But if you break any of these lugs, you're going to have a problem. Then you're going to have to order another piece because you're going to have a whole lot of problems. But that is panel 10. Look at, wow, that is amazing. And that's just one panel, guys. So that's that done. Now instruction 2 of how the hull plate fits. We need hull panel 9, which is this part here. That's 11, so where's 9? So next one, hull panel 9, guys. You can see here, I've got loads of panels to fit, and they are coming, guys. I did say last week, there's not much more recapping to do on this build. It's just going to be full build. So that just shows you the parts I've got there ready to be put together. But this is panel 9, as you can see. Now, how have we got to put this on there? Right, I think goes this way around. And this is a bit simpler because we're just putting it next to the panel we've already got, and that's got to fit on the frame like so. So what I'll do is turn it around, make sure they're all lined up right. Yeah, pretty cool to me. So that one, there we go. See, just a bit of persuasion, guys, nothing too rough, you don't damage anything. I won't worry about if they're sticking out a bit, because once you screw them in, there you go. So that's a nice click, you hear that click, and the screws further down the line are going to connect these panels to the frame. Look at that. Sorry guys, I'm so excited. That is brilliant. I love that. Right, instruction 3, hull panel 11, which is this one here. Again, you got, I hope that's coming out on camera, but there's BP11 there, that's your number of the panel. We've got another panel here, guys. I'm not sure if we're using that today, so I'll put that to one side. Now, this one, this has to go this way around, because as you can see here, guys, there's like a gap. This is going to be the gap in the frame. So if I put this like that, I think. Yeah, it looks good to me. Hang on, let me just double check. That's how that's going to go. Right, so I think that's how that's going to go. Yeah. Question myself, don't ever do that, guys. Be positive. Just do it. Question yourself, you always have problems. Well, that's that done, guys. That's all flush. Look at that. Look at that. That is just a snippet of what this build's going to look like, guys. That's just a little part of this massive Millennium Falcon build. Guys, if you want to come along with me to watch this build, subscribe, give us a big like, comment, share. But look at that. Look at the detail on that. And imagine if you weathered that, which I might do, I might not, I'm not sure. I don't have to keep it just plain. I think I'd have to be weathering it by now if I was doing that, so I might not. I might just leave it as it is, because I'm sure you have to do each panel before you put it to the framework. Let me just double check that's the end of this issue. Yeah, it is. So guys, that is issue 12 done and dusted. I do hope you enjoyed this video, guys, as much as I did building it for you guys. But yeah, that is it for this week's Millennium Falcon build, issue 12. Subscribe, like, comment, share. See you in the next one. Peace. That is it for this week's build of the Millennium Falcon, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed, please remember to subscribe. Give us a big like, comment and share. I would really appreciate that. This week was all about assembling the bottom frames, and then also what I did was check the hull plating just to see how it's going to look, guys, when this actual build is all built. It's going to look amazing. Again, guys, if you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to follow me on this build and all the other builds I've got on the channel, Rich43. And remember to give us a big like, guys. Really appreciate that. Comment and share. But for now, guys, for this week's Millennium Falcon, that is it. Come back next week to watch another issue of the Millennium Falcon build, issue 13. Look forward to seeing you guys. See ya. Peace.